So, you may know that YouTube offers movies for free. Most of these movies are garbage, but occasionally they do have a few really good ones. Like, for example, right now, the first 3 John Wick movies are free on YouTube. But if you scroll past the actually good movies, and if you scroll past the action movies nobody's seen, and if you scroll past the rom-coms, you eventually get to documentaries. And not all of these documentaries are of, respectable quality. Something else you should know about YouTube's free movies is that the comments are pretty much always positive, no matter what. Like, for example, on the movie Honest Thief, starring Liam Neeson. This has to be one of the most generic movies you could ever watch. This is what the reviews look like on Rotten Tomatoes, and this is what the reviews look like on YouTube. So mix that sort of overwhelming positivity with the dubious quality of these documentaries, and it makes for a pretty interesting comment section. Now, it's worth mentioning that I have not watched any of these movies, and I do not intend to. But I think you'll be able to tell from the titles alone that these movies are not really worth investing time in. For example, the first movie we're going to be taking a look at, Ancient Giants, Legends of the Anakim and Nephilim, which starts with this absolutely hilarious warning. That's how you know you're in for a good movie, when the movie says it doesn't even agree with itself necessarily. Anyone find it weird all these types of movies coming out at all around the same time? Like we're getting prep for something. We're not getting prep for something, it's just because AI voices have become a lot easier to use. I feel special being part of the future. Thanks, Google, for including me. Thumbs up emoji, smiling emoji. Google didn't make the movie. It's just on YouTube. Anyone could put anything on YouTube. You don't have to thank Google for letting you watch it. That tall red rock looking thing is a giant petrified tree stump. Yep, from the old world before the reset. Gotta love that random assertion without a single piece of evidence or even a little bit of reasoning behind it. If they would actually reveal the truth, the world would never be the same. And he knows this would totally disrupt everything they say everything. People say stuff like this a lot. It's like, I believe something, therefore it's true. The government should release the truth. They won't release the truth because it would change everything. Yeah, I'm way ahead of everybody else. Just a few years ago, a giant was killed in northern Canada, and another west of Grand Canyon. Somewhere in California, but sure exactly where. Both were scooped up and taken to the museum in D.C. The people who found these giants were told not to say a word, threatened with death. Then how do you know about it? In conjunction with HAARP, DARPA, CERN, military occults. Yes, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency and the European Organization for Nuclear Research are in fact not developing weapons for the US government or doing particle research, but are actually trying to cover up ancient giants. Somewhere between myth and legend is history. No, myth and legends are both things that didn't happen. History is what did happen. I feel these giant humans are the descendants of Adamu or Adam. Their ancestors lived on the island of Atlantis. After the Great Flood, they were scattered. Those who survived traveled to these places where they are now found in mounds and caves. The Anunnaki were giants themselves. Another claim made as though it was just common knowledge and not something absolutely insane. You're gonna notice that that's a theme. It's been right there in front of our faces, but we were not considered smart enough still to believe it. We've been lied to forever. I have a feeling people like this do a lot of getting lied to. The next movie, despite looking like a foot fetish film, is actually not a foot fetish film, or at least not openly, but is in fact a film about, I guess, standing on the ground without shoes or socks on. I love that the FDA has not approved this video. That means you should watch it. Thanks for sharing. I love that the FDA has not approved drinking bleach. That means you should do it. Thanks for sharing. I feel good. I went outside for a few minutes after starting to watch this. I stood on the ground barefooted for a few moments and realized I was crying, releasing inflammation and negative energy, grief and depression that has been causing insomnia. I'm so grateful for this video. Yes, I'm sure that standing barefoot on the ground released negative juju back into the earth, thus curing your depression. I had the worst panic attack of my life one night randomly, and my mind felt like it was exploding. I can't explain the feeling, but the first thing I did naturally, without even thinking, was go outside on the grass barefoot. This must mean this is our natural instinct. My reaction whenever I'm feeling anxious is usually to get up and eat something. This must mean that this is our natural reaction, and in fact, good for you. It's very similar to how gardening and planting flowers and seeds feels so good. Or I don't know, maybe because you like doing it? If you do something you like doing, you tend to feel good. I like bitching about shit that doesn't matter. It makes me feel good. This must mean that it is in fact a healing omen from Gaia. I love how they realize students are locked in rooms, insulated and on concrete, but instead of taking them outside, they wired the room and kept the kids locked up. Very nice. Well, what exactly are they supposed to do? Have school in the blistering heat and the rain? 10 years ago, I automatically took off my shoes and started touching Mother Earth. Something happened that changed my life forever. My consciousness awakened. Grounding not only affects you in your physical body, but also in your other bodies. If we all walked barefoot, we would have a different planet. And while all this Gaia shit is stupid, what I really hate is when people try to mix this weird, like, hippie spiritual bullshit with Christianity, and they think that that works somehow. When the Lord saw that he had turned aside to see, God called to him out of the bush, Moses, Moses, and he said, Here I am. Then he said, Come no closer, remove the sandals from your feet, for the place on which you are standing is holy ground. Yeah, that was more of like a ceremonial thing, you know, because he was walking around in the desert with his sandals, so they were all, you know, covered in dirt and sand. So taking those off because you're on holy, it wasn't an earthing thing. He wasn't trying to connect with Gaia. Here's another ceremonial thing from the Old Testament. You are to slaughter the young bull before the Lord, and Aaron's sons, the priests, shall bring the blood and splash it against the sides of the altar at the entrance to the tent of meeting. Mainstream biblical scholars will tell you that this was just a ritual meant for the Jews, but actually, it was saying that cow blood keeps negative jives from infecting your home. In everything you do, pray to God and trust him. He's great. He lets you go through any obstacles. 75-year-old grandma, 7/20/25. I'm 68 and I've always walked barefoot outside and lay in the sun. God made us from dust, and dust we will return. We connect with God our Father when we walk barefoot. Earth's magnetic fields are everywhere. It makes so much sense that our great God would create us on the planet he created to literally heal his creations. The reason all these are so funny to me is because, like, earth worship and shit like that is like textbook paganism. So trying to cram that into Christianity is just insane. People like this have no issue holding two contradictory beliefs at the same time. It is a good reminder I need to implement it ASAP for my depression. Thank you for making this movie. Or you could, I don't know, try therapy or antidepressants. You don't need like a magic solution to depression. We have pills that do that. Is this why my husband's pain miraculously goes away when we vacation at the beach? It could be earth magic. Or it could be that it's just warm, and that tends to be soothing. I'll let you decide which one you think is more likely. You know what else accomplishes that same effect? Those rubber water bottles that you fill up with hot water. This must mean that rubber is the cure to all diseases, and that you should eat it. Indian tribes do sacred walks on the earth in moccasins, all natural. Oh yeah, now that you mention it, they are barefoot, aren't they? Maybe there's some truth to this after all. The next movie is Anunnaki, Alien Gods Before Babylon. Sorry the poster looks like that, by the way. I don't have many comments from this one because, to be honest, there weren't really that many interesting comments. Not because the people who watched this movie didn't have anything interesting to say, but because I guess there was a problem with the music being too loud, so damn near every comment is about how loud the music is. The Anunnaki did not look like the Greys. They were much more human in appearance. They looked like us, only bigger. Those statues and reliefs depict their leaders, Enki and Enlil. As you can clearly see, they look human. This guy, of course, knows all of this because, he probably learned it. Well, I trust him. They want us to believe that a culture produced a massive amount of tablets and art statues for the sole purpose of myths and legends. I mean, yeah, could you imagine someone being inspired to create art out of folklore or something of religious significance? That just wouldn't happen. or demons from another dimension. You know what? To give them credit, that's probably about as likely as alien gods. I enjoy watching the Ancient Aliens programs. They offer different aspects to consider, and though I do not fully believe everything, it has opened my mind to the possibilities they offer. I mainly include this one because I hate the History Channel so much. You used to have Engineering and Empire. That was the coolest shit ever. Now all you have is this. What happened? It's pronounced Anunnaki, not Anunnaki, alright? Get it right. Alright, the last movie I have is A Flash of Beauty, Bigfoot Revealed. I don't know if necessarily beauty is what you would use to describe Bigfoot, but I guess to be fair, that's kind of up to you. I guess that's more of a personal thing. I guess if you're into big, hairy ape men. What a beautiful documentary. I live in Indiana and will most certainly never see a Sasquatch, but I am a believer. What convinced me was when several years ago I was watching another documentary and I heard that recording of them communicating with each other. The vocalizations were eerie yet sounded true. That's trustworthy. It gave me goosebumps and I just knew they were real. They just knew, so there's no need to question it. These interviews, especially the last one, also sounded true. They weren't trying to convince us of the authenticity of their sighting. They were just sharing. These people are so easy to fool. All you need to do is come out and say, I totally saw Bigfoot. Totally saw him. And they'll believe you. Like, with zero effort. Also, don't you dare bring shame on Indiana, you fuck. I saw Sasquatch in 2006/2007, rooting through the recycling bin at the end of my driveway, high in the Santa Cruz Mountains. My brother and our friend Paul were also witnesses. We thought it was a bear until we started hollering at it, and then it stood up on its hind legs, scowled at us, then turned and strode upright across the road and disappeared into the woods. Do you think it maybe could have just been a vagrant? My husband and I were married on December 8th, 1973. Definitely needed to know that. And we were headed down Alligator Alley, headed to our honeymoon. We were going about 60 and this huge creature called the Skunk Man in Florida bounded about 3 steps across the road. It was probably about 7 to 8 feet tall, and even though the windows were up, you could still smell it. I'm not sure what that has to do with Bigfoot and his flash of beauty. These people don't need to prove to us that there's Bigfoot out there. It's common sense. And if you know, you know. And if you don't, then you don't. These people are just sharing their experiences with us. And there's no reason for them to lie to us. I thank people like this for their time and their interviews. Yeah, I mean, believing in this mythical beast that's never been proven to exist ever at all, it's just common sense. I mean, if you know, you know. What does he mean if you know, you know? If you know Bigfoot exists, then you know Bigfoot exists? Well, I know about Bigfoot, but I don't think he exists. So what do I know or do I not know? Also, these people have no reason to lie. No one would ever lie. That, like, come on, they're telling the truth. Anyway, that's all the terrible comments I'm really willing to read right now.